If special counsel Jack Smith's case against Donald Trump falters, mistrial, for example, or some other dismissal, then we know what happens. Trump gets off. But if Donald Trump is guilty in this case, will he go to prison? In our explainer right now, we have the answer. It depends. And there's actually some strong clues in recent history. Trump allies have minimized these as minor charges about storage or paperwork. And combining that argument with cooperation has spared some guilty officials from prison in the past.
This is really at its core a storage argument that they're making, right? They're arguing there are documents there. They don't deny that he should have access to those documents. What they deny is that they were not properly stored. I don't think a fight over storage of documents is worthy of what they've done.
That is the no biggie defense. Call it a misunderstanding, like a parking ticket. And if you then do that and are cooperative with DOJ, like you would in traffic court, you can get to a compromise. You can get to conviction, no prison. Other officials have done that, pled guilty, avoided prison. Take former General and CIA Chief David Petraeus, touted as a national security kind of gold standard before his own classified document scandal.
One of the finest military officers of our time, General David Petraeus.
General Petraeus's briefing was comprehensive.
General David Petraeus was asked to do a very difficult job, and he did it with distinction.
Doing his job with distinction until he didn't. The FBI caught Petraeus sharing classified material with an author that he had a relationship with and also misleading the FBI. He turned a corner and pled guilty, avoiding prison and paying a fine. Same for President Clinton's national security advisor, who lifted classified documents from the archives, cutting them up with scissors, but then cooperated to avoid prison and pay a fine. So history shows you can be guilty, those were actual guilty pleas, and still avoid prison entirely. And yet, many other people serve hard time for these same type of crimes, especially when they are busted and then insist on fighting to the end rather than turning that corner I mentioned. Now, people may be following this DOJ case because of Donald Trump, but these kind of sentences, they come down all the time. In the news right now, there's this case of an FBI veteran hit with a 4-year sentence for taking classified documents, a situation that echoes the bathroom cameo from Mar-a-Lago, because what you're looking at there is how Trump treated these documents. The judge in this other case rebuked this convict for jeopardizing our nation by leaving documents in your bathtub. And the prosecutor who originally led that case is actually now working with Jack Smith to prosecute Trump. So real people go to real prisons for these kind of convictions all the time. It's made headlines over the years.
Burcham was sentenced June 1st to 3 years in prison.
Nia Hoang Pho admitting to removing and retaining highly classified documents.
Hal Martin was sentenced to 9 years in prison.
More than 11 years in federal prison.
The sentence, 19 years in prison.
The heftiest sentences usually had extreme facts or extra crimes. So keep these two lines of cases in mind, because my explainer for you tonight is pretty straightforward and not that long. We're near the end of it because those are the two options. The law works on precedent. Defendants like Petraeus could see the precedent to avoid prison. And so we can actually now answer the original question that I mentioned. If Trump is guilty in the DOJ case, will he go to prison? Very likely not if he pleads in time. Indeed, courts give government officials a break when they plea because it can show remorse, and their public service with remorse is viewed differently than some rando breaking into the Pentagon. But fight DOJ to the end and lose, and it's a very different story. In reporting on this today, we checked with one of the top national security lawyers in Washington, Bradley Moss. And he told us he cannot think of a single criminal case involving mishandling classified information that made it to a guilty verdict at trial and did not result in some prison time. And that fits the larger approach of DOJ and federal judges. In these Jan 6 cases, where Jack Smith also has the open probe, people who don't plead and are then convicted get longer sentences, and most are convicted. And plenty of hardcore Trump fans are now in prison. You see some of them here learning if you do crime for Trump, you do time for Trump. What's new as of the last few weeks is that Donald Trump is now a criminal defendant like his fans. And when that happens, things change up real fast. The conversations with your lawyers get very serious and scary. Any decent criminal defense lawyer will tell you about these cases and the precedent and show you an off-ramp. If you're thinking, wait, Ari, you put this on TV, Trump's going to find out about it. We know one of Trump's lawyers in this very case has already recommended that type of cooperation approach, and that was before the indictment. We also know Trump has vowed to never plea. And his defense lawyer, Joe Tacopina, publicly reiterated that vow after the New York indictment.
Do you expect this to go to trial? Do you see any scenario in which you or the former president would take a plea deal?
Zero. First of all, I'm not taking a plea deal to anything, but President Trump will not take a plea deal in this case. It's not going to happen.
Zero. That was the attitude in the New York indictment. That's been the exact attitude here, and Trump reiterating that in his own statements. So here we are in a season of accountability, from January 6th to classified documents, and it is a striking piece of legal information to see that one likely path away from prison is actually possible, and it is largely up to Trump. If he could manage to admit he was wrong in public and surrender to special counsel Jack Smith.